Hello everybody. So today we're going to be doing something so original that nobody's ever thought of before. We're going to be going on to Reddit and we're going to be reading some of the Am I the A-hole things? What are those called?
They're crazy stories.
Am I the A-hole? Basically, we have to determine whether or not we're the A-hole.
No, you know those videos you see with Minecraft parkour? Those ones, but without the Minecraft.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing that. Anyways, then we're gonna rate them and it's gonna be amazing and you're gonna love it. And if you don't love it, then that was literally so rude that you should probably subscribe to make it up to me. Now we start. Okay guys, so the first one is, am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend to shut the F up after she insulted my sister's thighs?
Yes!
Okay, anyways.
Wait, no. I mean, no. You tell her.
I'm 30 and my 12-year-old sister is living with me right now because my mom and pops are vulnerable, so it made sense for me to care for my sister the time being. Oh, it's 2 years ago, so I'm guessing this was during peak COVID. She is a really great kid, and to be honest, I feel in a lot of ways she's like my own kid because my mom and dad don't speak English, so I kind of had to raise my sis in ways that they couldn't. Hard to explain. Hard to explain, but I'm sure anybody with a secondary culture will get what I mean. My mom and dad are great parents, but having an English-speaking person to guide you through stuff you live in an English-speaking country is invaluable. What does IMO mean?
IMO?
Emo. And my sister trusts me with stuff she won't necessarily trust my parents with. Anyway, my girlfriend was FaceTiming me and my sister walked past in shorts and a t-shirt because it's hot. My girlfriend waited till my sister had left the area, but not the room, and made a face and said, maybe feed her less. Her thighs are getting kind of chunky. I saw red. Red. I see red. Red. I told her to shut the up. Just came out of my mouth and immediately ended the call. My sister is a bit chubby, but for F's sakes, who says stuff like that about a 12-year-old? Literally everybody I know has been texting me that I am a piece of shit boyfriend and and how can I disrespect my girlfriend like that? I'm expecting an apology from her, but to my shock, everybody is expecting me to apologize. No, you actually should not be apologizing. Are you kidding? Actually, your girlfriend should no longer be your girlfriend, and she should also maybe be 6 feet under. I can't tell, but I can tell actually she should be. For my ranking system, I have the remodeled heaven for you. Heart. You're not the a-hole. I'm conflicted. It's giving loser, and you are the a-hole. And first story, I think, is gonna go into you are not the a-hole. Because it's kind of just bare minimum to defend somebody for that, you know what I mean? Like, you
could have went about it a better way?
You could have killed her. We don't condone violence.
Exactly why you hire a hitman to do it for you.
No, but you definitely you did the right thing. But it doesn't mean you are the role model for everybody in the world just because you don't. You started
dating that girl in the first place.
You should have seen the signs. No, I'm kidding.
Red flag, red flag.
Am I the a-hole for going on a weekend trip alone that my partner couldn't afford? Hey everyone, a little while ago, I, 29 female, saw a discount flight to a nearby city. It was a 12-hour sail. I have friends in the city and immediately texted them to make plans, which they agreed. I phoned my boyfriend, 31 male, who I have been with about a year. We don't live together or share finances. If he wanted to come, he told me that he could not afford it right now as things were tight and he had his daughter, 4 female, not mine, that same weekend. So I went without him. My boyfriend is furious with me. He said that since we have been dating for a year and you're getting more serious, I've met his daughter and family, we are discussing moving in together next year, that we should make big differences together and run weekend plans by each other. He also really wanted to visit said city another time, maybe next year. I told him I'd be more than happy to visit again next year since I have many friends there. I was gone for a weekend and spent my own money to visit my own friends, so I don't see the issue. I feel like he is being controlling and I did ask him to join me, but he views me as being a bad partner who does not function as a team. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? No, you are not the a-hole. No. Consensus? What? Red flag. Bad. Get rid of him. You are not the a-hole.
Yeah. How dare he?
Yeah, he's kind of canceled. That's embarrassing. Oh, you're going with
getting serious?
Okay, everybody, she's reading this one. She wants to be cool, like me.
Am I the a-hole for making my Thanksgiving guests pay? Am I the a-hole for having my Thanksgiving guests pay for their own entrees? We live in Florida, and my mother and stepdad are driving down from Michigan to visit. We had an idea to do lobster instead of a traditional turkey for the meal. With the cost of lobster being quite high, we thought it would be great to have a bring your own lobster theme, meaning guests would prepay for their own live lobster that I will pick up on Thanksgiving Day. I will only pick up the amount of lobsters that are prepaid. My mom, who is more traditional, is quite frustrated that she's traveling all the way to Florida and still has to pay for her own food. She said she would rather have turkey, stuffing, and green bean casserole. What is that? My wife's family is excited about the idea, but not my mom and stepdad. I'm concerned this is coming off more selfish and not this fun shellfish dinner I was hoping for. You are not the a-hole just because of that pot.
Oh, I'm kind of conflicted, actually.
A little bit, yeah, because like...
Reddit ranked this as the a-hole. They have the red a-hole thing, but I don't think so because he just wanted to have do a fun little thing for Thanksgiving, you know, switch it up a little bit.
I disagree. When you volunteer to host the Thanksgiving dinner, you should
Oh, right. It was about him not paying for it. Yeah, that's a little bit weird. If it was your idea, then you pay for it. You know what I mean?
Especially because of how expensive lobster is. Like,
exactly.
It's giving loser.
I know, but
you're too broke to pay for the lobster.
Giving loser. I was on your side at first, man, but then I realized that it is a bit weird if it was your idea.
Don't have a shellfish dinner if you can't pay for it. The pun is the reason you are not you are the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for punishing my son after he said something racist? Okay.
No, next.
About a week ago, my 39 female family ordered my 39 female family.
She's saying that she's 39 female. Like 39
There's 39 females in your family. My family ordered Chinese food for delivery. When the delivery driver came to the door, my daughter, 16 female, was taking the cat upstairs to put in her room because he always tries to eat the food. My son, 13 male, loudly says, "Make sure to hide the cat from the Chinese guy."
This is not good.
As I'm at the door getting the food from the Chinese delivery driver, he very obviously heard what my son said and was upset by it. I quickly apologized and took the food. I told my son that racist jokes were completely unacceptable and very wrong, and he refused to admit that he was in the wrong. So later that night, I forced my son to write a sincere apology to the delivery driver. His name was on the receipt, as well as write a one-page paper on Chinese culture and a one-page paper on why racism is perpetuated by racist jokes and stereotypes. Then the next day I took him to the restaurant and had him read his apology aloud to the delivery driver as well as give him the papers he wrote. The driver was very appreciative of the apology and thanked me for making my son do it. He then told my son about multiple instances where he had faced racist comments and attacks from people while he was a delivery driver. That night, my husband, 43 male, and I got into an argument about me making our son do this. He told me that it was embarrassing for our son to have to do this apology and that the punishment didn't fit the crime. I told him that it was much more embarrassing for the driver to have to face that kind of racism and racist stereotypes and that our son would get over the embarrassment. I do not condone any kind of hateful thinking in my house, and the fact that my son said that embarrassed me as well. My husband told me that it was just a joke and it wasn't that big of a deal. I feel like I might have overreacted some, but I think it's important to help my son understand how what he said was wrong and hurtful.
Behind bars.
Husband, how dare your son?
How dare you? No, but actually that's terrible. No, and also that was power moves, making him actually go deliver it to the driver. That's how you actually teach a lesson, you know? You don't just, I don't know, abuse the child. You actually teach a valuable lesson by making them write literally an essay. That was kind of big brain moment. So they remodeled heaven for you.
Most definitely.
I hope you will like your stay.
That's better.
Am I the a-hole for ratting out my brother? So I, 15 male, have a brother, 18 male, who's gay. Who's gay? So he's looking around. Sorry. Who had his boyfriend over, right? And my mom and dad, anytime we have friends or people over, always stick them in the living room because they sleep upstairs, and if they stay up, they won't wake them up, as in their parents. And at one stage, I went in there before going to bed, so like the living room, and they were spooning on the sofa in their boxers. Interesting choice to do that in the living room. Okay. But I think they meant nothing inherently sexual, but hands were definitely very low. So I'm uncomfortable with the fact anal could be happening on a sofa. I don't think that was logically the next step, but
no.
So I went to my dad about it, who wasn't very happy about what I described. He went into them. What? What? Into them to have a word and stuck my brother in his bedroom and made them sleep separately, one in the living room. That is so embarrassing. So the next day, my brother is raging at me for ruining his 100% innocent night of non-sexual cuddling. That's all he had in mind, I'm sure. And like, he was unbelievably pissed. Like, if he's telling the truth, then why is he so mad? I asked him that and got nothing back, so safe to say he's lying. So first of all, I already know where I'm gonna put this because this is embarrassing. You literally just said, Mommy, Daddy, I want a tattletale.
As a 15-year-old, like,
obviously, weird decision to just be in your underwear on the couch when you know somebody can go in there. But at the same time, even more weird decision to be like, I'm gonna tell on you.
I would be uncomfortable as well if I walked in on my brother in his boxers on the couch. Take notes. Like, no one wants to see a relative in boxers cuddling their significant other. But don't go crying to Mommy and Daddy.
What you could have done, went to your bedroom.
Or just ask them, be like, can you put clothes on? It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Instead, Mom! Mom!
So now everybody's uncomfortable. The parents are uncomfortable, kids are uncomfortable, you're uncomfortable. Look what you've done.
The cat is uncomfortable.
Because you're not, so this is definitely giving loser. It's not giving you're a terrible person forever. It's just giving...
loser.
Yeah, loser. Am I the a-hole for refusing to invite my twin sister to my wedding? So I'm gonna try to keep a long story concise as best as I can. I, female 28, and my twin sister, V, female 28. We were born to a teen mom who raised us the best she could, but led us both to having very different ways of dealing with abandonment and an unstable home life. My mom has a very strained relationship with V. Since she was 17, she started doing many different substances, partying, alcohol, and smoking. I, being her sister, always tried my best supporting her as my mother did, but I was more of a best friend, whereas my mom was the one who would force her to sort out her life, rehab, etc. I, on the other hand, turned out to be very obsessed with having control and structure in my life, which has made it very difficult for me to maintain romantic relationships as I can be controlling and paranoid with abandonment. Cut forward to when I was in uni, V found herself in a very bad, toxic relationship and practically cut off my mother, which severed the relationship entirely. She eventually got pregnant and gave birth to my nephew in my second year at uni. After struggling with romantic partners all my life and having very short-term boyfriends, I met my ex-fiance, let's call him D, who I genuinely thought I'd met the one. During this time, V had broken up with her toxic ex and was now a single mother, so me and D would have her and my nephew over on most weekends. I, however, fell pregnant, and a year after my daughter was born, D proposed. I had never been happier for starting my family. We decided to wait a year to get married and genuinely enjoyed our new family life. However, one weekend I decided to go see my mother and spend the day with her and my daughter, but we came home early since my mother became busy. When I arrived, I saw V's car outside, which wasn't unusual, and went inside. Nothing would have prepared me for what I would find. V and D were alone together in my bedroom on my bed. It seemed like the deed had already been done. I went straight to packing for me and my daughter and I left. I gave D no chance for excuses and cut both of them out of my life entirely, except for allowing D visitation to our daughter. Jump forward 3 years, I have barely spoken to V, except for when she pops back into my life to apologize or explain, but I don't care. There is no excuse she could give me. I am now engaged to my beautiful fiance, M, and he loves my daughter and me more than I could ever imagine. Although my mother is now begging me to invite my sister to my wedding coming up in June, saying to put the past in the past since my mother has been able to forgive her and mend the relationship. I refused, which has caused tension. She's telling me that this may be the only way to fix our bond and for my daughter to have her aunt and cousin back, but I still refuse. So am I the a-hole? No, you are not. Your sister is crazy.
Personally, I would not invite her to the wedding, and I would file a restraining order.
And you know what? It's your decisions. Nobody else can force you to bring somebody else into your life. Like, if you don't want somebody in your life, then that's up to you. Boo! This one is going in. You are not the a-hole. Period.
Period. Period.
Period. Period.
Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend that I don't want to meet or talk to her sister because she is a glorified ho? The mother effing moderators just banned me so I can't respond to your weak A arguments. So me and my 6-month girlfriend were discussing me seeing her family soon, and then she talked about her sister and her huge body number. This is already not going well for you. And how she is sexually liberated and she had more than 5 or 6 gangbangs, and that she is currently in a poly relationship. I was disgusted and put off and realized that she lives with her boyfriend and husband at the same time, so I'll have to see those two, and I don't really want that. Is that an a-hole move? And also, of course, when she insisted, I said her sister was a glorified hoe.
What in the world?
First of all, I'm sensing fragile masculinity.
I know. Your girlfriend's not asking you to take part. She's not saying, we're gonna go join them.
We're gonna go have a gangbang with my sister. No!
Why do you think you're above them? That's the real question we should be talking about.
Anything.
Yeah, you are not a slayer. You are a player.
On
ding,
God.
ding, ding. You're going into you are the a-hole.
First of all, am I the a-hole for telling my neighbor she needs to stop with flaunting her money and spoiling her kids? This happened in August. I have 4 kids and I'm a single mom who only gets $239 each month in child support. My neighbor has 2 daughters with a husband who is a lawyer, and she's a nurse, so her kids are spoiled rotten. When I caught wind of her taking his kids school shopping, I asked if I could have a lift to the local Walmart since I didn't want to waste money with having to take myself and the kids on the bus, and she said sure. We were dropped off at Walmart and I told my kids they could get 1 special school item, so my 2 daughters got sparkly mechanical pencils and my 1 son got a dinosaur notebook, and my other son got colorful gel pens. There was frozen pizzas on sale, and since we can't afford to order a pizza and only have frozen pizzas on occasion, I said why not, and bought 1 for dinner. And then I got them some new school clothes. When neighbor picked us up a few hours later, her back seat and trunk were filled with garbage from Justice, Abercrombie, Staples, etc., plus they had to-go boxes. Our kids were talking about what they got, and her kids had gotten all high-priced crap from these stores. Her one daughter went, "Mommy got a steak for dinner at Roadhouse," and my youngest said we had gotten a frozen pizza, which broke my damn heart. While I spent $75 to $100 tops, my neighbor probably spent hundreds on her kids. On the way home, the daughters were begging for McDonald's Sundays off. So neighbor pulls in the drive-thru and asks me if my kids would like any. I said yes, assuming she was paying, but then she ordered separately and asked for the money. I forked the money over that was supposed to be for getting my hair done next week. When we get home, I took neighbor aside and told her that I don't appreciate her rubbing her money in my kids' faces. I try to make their lives easy with the little things here and there, but then she goes ahead and spoils her kids rotten right in front of my kids. She told me she's allowed to spend her money the way she sees would fit with her children, and I told her that her kids are spoiled and don't need all that high-priced crap. She hasn't spoken to me since, and I've struggled since I used to rely on favors from her, and it's starting to drive me insane. Am I the a-hole for calling out her materialistic ways?
Yes. First of all, if she wants to be a material girl, she can be a material girl. And her kids didn't do anything against your kids. It's like, and also, you were getting a ride from her. You specifically said
you didn't offer to pay for gas.
Yeah, that you relied on favors from her, and like, you're trying to complain. You're trying to complain.
I would like to go back to assuming she was paying for the McDonald's Sundays.
That is so
You never assume you bring money in case.
I'm like, who raised you? Were you raised in a sewer?
Were you raised with the rats?
Yeah.
Actually raised with Remy from Ratatouille. But even he's got more respect.
Yeah. So you are going in.
You are the a-hole.
You are the a-hole.
On God.
The only thing, I could understand why you were embarrassed, but you embarrassed yourself so much more.
How is she getting $8 hair done anyways? I'm pretty sure a Sunday is $2.
Oh, is that why you're saying $8?
Yeah, and she said she had 4 kids, I think, if I'm counting right. How are you getting your hair done for $8? What hairdresser are you going to?
Am I the a-hole for telling my mom she either buys presents for all the kids or none? My husband and I have 2 children, Danny, 10 male, and Clarissa, 6 female. For 2 years now, we fostered children. Our families have been supportive. Last Christmas, we had a long-term placement, Whitney. They were with us for 6 months at the time. My husband's family made sure to get her gifts if they were buying some for our bio children. Mine did the same, all except for my mother. She got my kids really nice gifts, but for Whitney, she got nothing. Whitney was a toddler, so she didn't notice, but it did rub me the wrong way. I talked to my mom, and she said she didn't think it would matter because Whitney was going to be going home soon. I told her in the future, of course gifts for our children aren't expected, but if she buys for one, she has to buy for everyone. Whitney was reunited with her parents 2 months later. Shortly after, we got our next placement, Samantha. She's 8 years old. We don't know how much longer she'll be with us, but it does seem like reunification is on the horizon. Exciting for Samantha.
You go, Samantha. Is that the
You
Samantha
go,
that
girl.
Olaf's like, I don't even know a Samantha? It was actually his kid.
My mom recently called me asking what the kids wanted for Christmas. She worded it just like that, not what do Danny and Clarissa, just the kids. I mentioned an idea for each child, including Samantha. She then said, but she's going home soon. I replied, yes, but she still will be with us through the holidays at minimum, and she's old enough to understand that the other kids are receiving gifts and she's not. My mom kept arguing, and finally I said I won't accept gifts for Danny and Clarissa if she shows up with just gifts for them. Then they'll be sent back. My mom told me I was being spiteful. I said I can't control her buying gifts for Samantha, but she won't exclude her.
Tell her.
My kids are not the type to expect gifts. They wouldn't notice if grandma didn't get them anything. Another relative who usually goes all out was having a hard time last year and didn't get them anything. They didn't say a word. So I know they won't even be fazed by this. This also isn't an issue on money on my mom's end. She admits she could afford to buy Samantha something. My husband is backing me up, but some of my relatives aren't. Am I the a-hole? Some are saying just buy Samantha an extra gift and she won't notice. My mom comes in person to drop off the gifts and she physically passes up the gifts, so it'd be obvious if I then gave her a gift when my mom excluded her.
You are not the a-hole.
You are not the a-hole. Your mom?
How dare she?
Boo. Boo. You.
Regina George.
That is so terrible of the mom to do that. Like, things like that, kids remember.
I remember.
I remember.
Gifts for Christmas.
December of 2005.
You were like 3 years old.
That was the joke. And actually, I was 2. I'm thinking...
I'd say they remodeled.
Yeah.
They remodeled
heaven for you.
Just like, not even to the story, because you were taking in foster kids. Girl, yeah. They remodeled
also,
heaven for you to stop that.
You could have just been like, yo, I don't like this, and then given up. But you said that if Samantha doesn't get a gift, nobody gets a gift.
How dare she not get a gift?
You are
Samantha.
Amazing for that.
We need to go back to Whitney, like Whitney Houston here. How dare your mother not get Whitney again?
Whitney. We don't care that she's a toddler. Whitney. She'll remember. Okay, anyways, guys, I think that's the end of this video because this is probably going to be a really long video already. So if you enjoyed watching this, please like and subscribe and comment.
No, you gotta do it like the old YouTubers. Don't forget to smash that like button and hit the subscribe button. Smash or pass?
Hug smash. Anyways, that's all. Goodbye.
Au revoir.